Hi guys, this is Hirosaki. This story is all about what if Naruto was given a time travel jutsu. After receiving a time travel jutsu as payment for a mission, the original 4 members of Team 7 each get a chance to go back to one event in their life and change it. Surely, they will use such an awesome power responsibly, right? Don't count on it. Before we start, kindly like and subscribe to this channel and look over the description box for the author of this amazing storyline. Welcome aboard. Chapter 29, Nogara, Oto is our ally. Minato stood up to see why someone had put a large-scale genjutsu over the crowd when someone put their arm around him. Immediately, he took out a kunai and stabbed the offending arm before breaking free. Turning to face his molester, he saw the Kazekige's hand bleeding. "Is there a reason you just grabbed me?" Minato asked the Kazekage, a little disturbed. "Because the only reasons I can think of for your actions are you were trying to kidnap me or trying to grope me. Relations between cages really wouldn't end well," Kakashi opined. "And I've never seen him interested in anyone but Kushina anyway." "I was not trying to grope you," the Kazekage insisted. "One of these days people are going to realize I'm not a pedophile, and if I were you would be far too old for me." "So you were trying to kidnap me?" Minato asked, raising an eyebrow. "You would try to steal the Hokage away from the heart of Konoha? That is the height of foolishness." "I was actually just trying to take you to the roof so I could kill you," the Kazekage explained. "And we couldn't fight here because dash?" Minato questioned. "It's kind of cramped," the Kazekage explained. "Not to mention it would be difficult to set up the barrier." "It's not like I'm going to be running from a fight with you, Kazekage-sama," Minato assured him. "That would endanger my shinobi, and dealing with you is my responsibility." "What do you honestly hope to accomplish with this attack? Isn't it obvious?" the Kazekage returned. "I'm trying to start a war." "A war?" Minato repeated. "Because the Wind Daimyo has been favoring Konoha recently and cutting back on Suna's forces." The Kazekage laughed. "That is the rhetoric I used to convince the old fools on the council, but no. I just want to destroy Konoha. In fact, I even joined a club devoted to that very purpose." "You know," Kakashi said casually, deciding to see once and for all whether or not things had changed since the invasion was still on and had, ironically enough, started during the exact same match. "I get that you're bitter, but if you had just put on that damn necklace, you might have stood a better chance. You really shot yourself in the foot there." Minato's eyes widened. "Necklace? You mean, Orochimaru?" There was a dark chuckle. "Who else? I can think of a good 12.5 people who would pull something like this off the top of my head," Kakashi offered. "Be that as it may, it is me, the rightful Yondaime," the Kazekage declared, ripping off his face to reveal that he was, in fact, Orochimaru. "I could be wrong," Minato said dubiously, "but I'm fairly certain one of the job requirements for Kage is a lack of desire to kill your people and destroy your village." "I knew I was missing something," Orochimaru deadpanned. By the time Naruto and Temari reached Sasuke, and Gaara, Baki, and Kankuro were already there. "Thank you so much for leaving me alone up there to freak out about Gaara not following the plan," Temari fumed, smacking her puppet-obsessed brother on the head. "Hey, it's not my fault," Kankuro protested. "I didn't make the finals, remember? Which was totally your own damn fault for not taking this seriously," Temari reminded him. "And little details like, don't belong in the box, didn't actually stop anyone from Konoha." "Well, to be fair, those people are crazy," Kankuro replied. "Hey!" Naruto objected. "Do you still think I'm evil?" Kankuro demanded, turning to him. "I forget," Naruto confessed. Kankuro turned back to his sister. "Case in point. Gaara, do you remember the plan?" Beiki asked urgently. Gaara ignored him. Gaara. Beiki tried again. Obito sighed. Hold on. He stepped between the still fighting pair. You guys can stop fighting. The Chiryunin exam is over. Good, Gaara said. Because I swear, this headache is getting really bad. Did I win? Sasuke demanded. Because if I didn't win and the match is just over, then I refuse to acknowledge that. Obito rolled his eyes. Fine, yes, you won because Suna appears to be invading. And Oto. And a couple of Umbu, but they are probably spies if not outright invaders who stole Umbu masks. Do you remember the plan, Gaara? Beiki asked again. Gaara nodded. Yes, it was, wipe out the Oto shinobi, right? Did Gaara just defect? Kankuro asked, stunned. Temari sighed. Probably. I don't get it, Kankuro murmured. He's always hated Suna and now he loves Konoha. I'm not surprised, this has been coming on since Naruto decided you were the evil one, Temari told him. I'm nearly positive he hadn't defected when we got up today. Why didn't you stop him? Kankuro asked accusingly. He didn't say anything until right before Sasuke and Sakura's fight. Temari defended herself. And how was I supposed to stop it? They're nice to him. Trying to make him leave so as not to get influenced wouldn't work, as we can't make Gaara do anything, and it would only serve to further contrast our behavior with that of the Konoha shinobi we know and push him even further to their side. Beiki shook his head. No, it was wipe out the Konoha shinobi. The ones with the misshapen leaf on their forehead protectors instead of the random musical note. Gaara cocked his head. Really? Because I could have sworn when I heard about the plan it was Oto shinobi. If the Konoha thing is a last-minute change, you should know I do not do well with those. No, it was always killing Konoha shinobi, Beiki attempted to convince Suna's not-so-secret weapon. Can you handle that, or do we need to abort your mission? I assure you, I am perfectly ready and willing to kill Oto shinobi, Gaara answered. He turned to Obito. Would that negatively affect my chances of making Chiryunin? Surprised, Obito shook his head. As long as you don't start killing people indiscriminately and only go after invaders, it really shouldn't be a problem. Yes, it would be a very big problem, Beiki countered. Seeing as how Oto are our allies in th. What? You're saying that the unyouthful fiend Orochimaru unyouthfully murdered the Kazekage and took his place so as to trick Suna into invading and starting a pointless and destructive war? Guy cried out, shocked and horrified. Beiki, Temari, and Kankuro automatically turned towards their Kazekage, only a pale black-haired man standing in his robes. Is that Orochimaru? Kankuro asked. Sasuke nodded grimly. Yes, it is. He paused. He also killed my family. Naruto groaned. So not the time, Sasuke. It looks like we've been set up, Beiki growled. Gaara, if you're sure you can handle it, go off and kill all the Oto shinobi you can find. We need to spread the word about the Kazekage. We will not throw our lives away for a Konoha ninja's petty revenge fantasy. Sasuke, as much as I know you like siding with anyone who is out to get vengeance, you already tried that and it would get in the way of your own need for vengeance against Orochimaru, so don't even think about it, Naruto warned. I won't, Sasuke promised. After all, while some may not think preventing us from fighting is enough cause to kill someone, well, I've sought vengeance for less. Sakura, I am impressed that you've already managed to kill 10 Oto shinobi, Guy complimented. You seem quite youthful in your eagerness to help keep Konoha safe. I didn't get to work out all my frustration with Sasuke during our match, Sakura explained. And ruining the tournament just so he could invade, would it really have killed him to wait? Now I'm going to have to deal with a pair of pissed-off preteen boys. I am not really sure that I can properly sympathize, as the adorable Lee and Niji are not really ones to get pissed off, Guy told her. But whatever helps you keep our home safe. If it's true about Orochimaru, then do you think Hokage-sama be okay? This is really serious. He survived raising Naruto with his sanity more or less intact, didn't he? Sakura replied with a grin. That's not a task for the faint of heart. And besides, he's the Hokage, the leader of the village of Konoha. He's not going to go down easily. Okay, we woke up the others, Kiba announced, running back to them, followed by Ino, Koji, Hinata, Shino, and Team Guy. You mean I woke them up, Shikamaru corrected, lazily making his way back as well. I helped. Kiba insisted. I made sure no one attacked you while you were reviving them. Troublesome, Shikamaru muttered. I should have just gone with my original plan of pretending to be unconscious. I might have even gotten a nap out of the deal. Then why didn't you? Kiba challenged. Is it because you realize that you really want to help protect Konoha after all? No, Shikamaru shook his head and yawned. I just realized that since there are 3 other people with me who could dispel genjutsu as well, one of them would have probably tried to wake me up. Probably Naruto, as he is the most troublesome. You all proved that you are all either ready to become Chunin or on your way, Guy told them seriously. Even though you are all only genin right now, we need you to help defend Konoha. Can you do that? The genin nodded determinedly. I've got to get back to my team, Sakura said apologetically. I'm sure you guys can handle things up here, and I'm also equally sure that they are going to do something stupid. Since God knows I'm somehow the responsible one, I need to make sure they don't get themselves killed. Guy gave her a considering look before nodding. All right. Be careful getting down there. Now, the rest of you, listen up. I must confess, Orochimaru said, I would so rather be facing the Sandaime so I could kill him for his betrayal. His betrayal? Minato couldn't believe it. You were the one who was experimenting on not only Konoha citizens but children. Babies, even. I should have been Hokage, Orochimaru growled. He took away my rightful position. I can't blame Jiraiya, I suppose, for wanting his student to become Yondaime. That was his goal since before I met him. Tsunade, I might need later, so I can't seek vengeance on her. You, though, if it weren't for you, Sarutobi-sensei would have had no choice but to choose me. And what then? Minato shot back. You would have destroyed us in your mad quest for power. Maybe, maybe not, Orochimaru said dismissively. I didn't come here to talk about the past. Could have fooled me. Kakashi muttered. I may not have the ideal battleground, but I still don't want any interference. Now, my sound 4, put up the barrier. Orochimaru ordered. Minato glanced reflexively around the cage box only to see that the shinobi with Orochimaru lay on the floor unmoving. What, why aren't they putting up the barrier? Orochimaru demanded. Itaka killed them 10 minutes ago, Kakashi informed them, sounding bored. He would have helped, but the younger shinobi seemed to have it well under control, and it seemed kind of poetic to have Itaka killing the ones who had, in another life, tempted Sasuke away from the relative safety of Konoha and towards training with the seriously disturbed Orochimaru and, eventually, ending up with the Akatsuki. Itaka had always been better at silent killing than he had, anyway. Maybe if you were less caught up in your little grudge match, you might have noticed. It doesn't matter, Orochimaru decided finally. I'll kill you either way. Minato responded with the decidedly hostile shuriken cage bunshin no jutsu. One shuriken became dozens and were all flying straight towards Orochimaru. He couldn't possibly avoid them all. Orochimaru clapped his hands together and asked, Have you seen my Kukiyos, Edo-tensei? It took ages to master, but I consider it well worth my time. It may have taken some sacrifices, but their uselessness failed me anyway, and maybe now we can show Sarutobi-sensei just which one of us deserved the title of Yondaime more. A coffin sprang up in front of him. You know, just the fact that if Minato-sensei had lost he wouldn't be throwing an epic hissy fit and trying to kill everyone makes him a better candidate, even should you win this fight, Kakashi couldn't resist pointing out. Orochimaru glared at him. Nobody asked you. No, but if you're planning on asking the Sandaime he'll just tell you the same thing, Kakashi countered. Albeit, he'll be a lot sadder and more disappointed than I am. A second coffin sprung up and then a third, but Minato quickly made a few hand signs. The first and third coffins creaked open while the second remained stationary. The Shodei's revival didn't work. Orochimaru complained. And I so wanted to see the Mokuton in action. I did sacrifice 59 infants for the chances, after all. Oh well, at least there is always the Nidaime and the Sandaime. Sure enough, when the two functional coffins opened fully, they revealed Sarutobi Hiruzen and a man Minato recognized from his portrait to be Senjo Tobirama. So you're the Yondaime, Tobirama said. I may not know you, but I have faith in Hiruzen, and if he chose you, you must be a worthy successor. Especially so when you consider the other candidate. He shot a disgusted look at Orochimaru. Orochimaru snorted. Please, like I need your approval. Well, you won't be getting mine either, Sarutobi informed him flatly. He turned to his successor. It's been a long time, Minato. I am pleased to see you're doing so well, even if this isn't exactly the best of circumstances. I never expected to see you again, Minato confessed. I'm sorry that I have to fight you, but Orochimaru is leaving me no choice. Do not blame yourself for doing what needs to be done, Sarutobi said gently. That is what it means to be Hokage, after all. And I do hope that you've stopped blaming yourself for my death. The Kyuubi needed to be stopped and Konoha and Naruto needed you. I was an old man and it was time for me to step aside. Sandaime-sama. Minato trailed off. Since I have you here and Orochimaru has yet to do anything to try and control you, can you answer a question for me? Kakashi spoke up. Sarutobi looked surprised. Certainly, Kakashi. What do you wish to know? Do you, in any way, blame me for your death? Kakashi demanded. What? No, of course not, Sarutobi assured him. If you hadn't told me of Minato's plan, it is true that he probably would have died in place of me, but it was for the best and it was my decision. That's what I thought, Kakashi said triumphantly. Could I maybe get that in writing, though? He glanced at Orochimaru. You don't mind, do you? It's kind of important. Be my guest, Orochimaru said, bemused. I'm just going to have them kill you once you're finished, but by all means, assuage your guilt. Kakashi's eye twitched as he pulled out his book. I don't feel guilty no matter what they might say. Okay, Jiraiya signed the front cover, so could you mention that you don't blame me on the back? Maybe it's just because I've been dead for the past 12 years, Sarutobi said as he obligingly absolved Kakashi from blame, but I just don't understand you people anymore. Chapter 30, I'm not a pedophile, I just want his body. Thanks again for doing this, Kakashi said again. Seriously, you've just saved me many an accusation of murder. That's quite alright, Sarutobi assured him. And really, I don't think I want to know. If you two are quite done with that, then it's time to move things along, Orochimaru announced. He took out 2 kunai that had seals attached to them and plunged one into the back of each of the former Hokage's head. Feel free to resume your true appearance now. They look cleaner, Minato noted. But other than that, pretty much the same. What did you do? The seal I put in them puts them directly under my control, Orochimaru bragged. And the nice thing about this resurrection technique is it's a form of immortality. Until I stop powering them, they will continue to exist here no matter what you do. If you remove a limb, it will grow back. Every time you knock them down, they will simply get up again. You can't win. So you're saying we need to kill you first, Minato said flatly, staring hard at his former compatriot. Orochimaru laughed. As if you could. Dear Sarutobi-sensei and Naidame-sama wouldn't let you get anywhere near me, and even if you could manage it, I've seen you in action before. Do you really think I'd come here if I was going to be risking death? Are you? Kakashi trailed off incredulously before starting again. Are you honestly telling us that if either of the two former Hokages had bothered to move instead of standing right in front of you and within Kunao plunging range, they might not have been taken over and we could have avoided all of this? I suppose so, Orochimaru agreed. Too bad for you they didn't. Itake, Kakashi, Minato said in a low voice. I want you two to go after Orochimaru. I can handle myself against my predecessors, and if anything goes wrong then killing Orochimaru should destroy Sandaime-sama and Naidame-sama's incarnations. We don't know what steps Orochimaru has taken to try and achieve immortality, so if necessary, Itake, use the Seiknagi no Tachi. Itake nodded. Understood, Hokage-sama. Don't die, Minato-sensei, Kakashi said, knowing very well that this battle had cost Sarutobi his life, although he wasn't clear on the details. Something about sealing Orochimaru's arms? Wouldn't dream of it, Minato promised. I will not fall to the likes of Orochimaru. Oh, so the two of you are going to be facing me now? Orochimaru asked, arching an eyebrow at them. I had so wanted to watch Minato die, but I suppose that this will at least give me something to do while he realizes that resistance is futile and abandons all hope of surviving. If I hurry, I might even get done in time to watch Yondaime-sama's death. You're confident, Itake said quietly. Immortal people often are, Orochimaru replied. And I mean real immortality, not those parlor tricks of Haiden's. Why we're considering letting him join is beyond me. It would be so much easier if Kakuzu just learned some self-control. If you're immortal and not even slightly worried about Minato-sensei kicking your ass, then why did you feel the need to summon two dead people to stand between the two of you? Kakashi asked innocently. I don't need to explain myself to the likes of you, Kakashi, Orochimaru sniffed. And you? I know who you are. Indeed. Itake asked rhetorically. You're the one who pinned your massacre on me. Orochimaru exclaimed. My massacre? Itake repeated. I'm afraid I don't know what you mean. I wasn't anywhere near Konoha that night, and yet somehow everyone blames me for wiping out such an honorable and distinguished clan, Orochimaru hissed. The acclaim was appreciated, but being held responsible for wiping out such a powerful bloodline? I've come to feel it is not worth it. I fail to see how that is my fault, Itake told him. Anko was the one who identified you that night. I'm sure she was, Orochimaru said patronizingly. That girl never did like me after I left. I think she might have abandonment issues. Still, I wonder what dear little Sasuke-kun would have to say about all of this. He was such a delight when we met in the forest. Itake's eyes flashed. I will kill you before allowing you anywhere near my brother again. You can try, Orochimaru invited. The Sharingan might be a good deal rarer than it once was, but that only adds to its value. I've always wanted an Uchiha, you know, and now it seems fate has seen fit to give me one. You mean, like a pet? Kakashi felt compelled to ask. Or do you mean more like a sex toy? Itake eyed his fellow Konoha shinobi reproachfully but said nothing. At least not now, although after the invasion was over might very well be a different story. What? No. Orochimaru insisted. I am not a pedophile. I just want his body. There was an awkward silence. Are you sure you're not a pedophile? Kakashi asked finally. because from the sounds of it Yes, I'm sure, Orochimaru cut him off. He opened his mouth wide and a snake extended from it. Oh, that is just gross, Kakashi exclaimed. What, did you eat a snake now? Does one live in your intestines? On second thought, I really don't want to know. If you are going to complain every time Orochimaru does something disturbing, this is going to take twice as long, Itachi told him. And once this battle is over, we will still be needed to deal with the rest of the invasion. I know, it's just... Kakashi trailed off as the snake's mouth opened to reveal a blade that shot forward in his general direction. Once the sword was gone, the snake receded back into Orochimaru's throat and he shut his mouth. Jumping out of the way, Kakashi continued, if he was just going to use the snake to store the sword, why even bother with that? Is he just trying to be creepy? I know you can swallow swords without the aid of reptiles because God knows I've seen Anko do it often enough. Kakashi felt that even now, he still wasn't a match for Orochimaru. Minato definitely was, but he was a little busy at the moment. Even Sasuke had only managed to beat him because the Snake Sunin was already suffering the effects of his borrowed body's breakdown, even if Sasuke usually denied it. Not that that really reflected badly on either of them, except Sasuke really should have put himself in a position where he was so close to being assimilated, since Orochimaru had proven capable of standing up to Naruto when he was using Four Tails. Really, the only person he knew of to defeat Orochimaru in anything resembling a fair fight was Itachi, and he'd pulled it off at 13 or so, and thus Kakashi was perfectly happy to leave the snake fighting to the Uchiha and deal with the legendary sword himself. Unfortunately, said legendary sword had this annoying tendency to be able to slice through anything. Well, anything except multi-tailed Jinchuriki Chakra, and Kakashi was sadly bereft of that. Fortunately for him, tossing random kunao, exploding tags, or even jutsus at the Kusanagi no Tsurugi, Ku no Tachi was enough to slow it down, as even though he was just essentially stalling, doing nothing but running away would be really embarrassing. It might even convince Orochimaru not to waste his precious sword on him and recall it, meaning he would be no help whatsoever. Kakashi stopped suddenly, and almost got impaled as a result, when he saw a giant flaming humanoid spirit surrounding Itachi. That must be Susanoo. Orochimaru paused for a second to whisper in wonderment, the Sakenagi no Tachi. All these years and you've had it. I knew there was a reason I hated you. Almost before Orochimaru finished his odd declaration, Susanoo stabbed him with the Kusanaga's perfect counter. Almost immediately, Orochimaru seemed to melt into the sword. Without Orochimaru to guide it, the Kusanagi dropped lifeless to the ground. I've always wanted an unbreakable sword, Kakashi mused, picking it up. Or at least I have since that thing started chasing me. Sasuke will probably steal it from me first chance he gets, though. After all, the fact that he kept calling his sword Kusanagi kind of suggests an active interest on his part. Itachi quickly dropped the Susanoo and he and Kakashi turned as one to see how Minato was faring. Minato was standing back and watching as two clones of his held the Sand Aim and Night Aim in place. An arm was extending out of each clone's abdomen and into that of each former Hokage. Sorry, Yondaime-sama, the Night Aim apologized, a wry smile on his face. We've caused a lot of trouble for you. You're doing a great job, Minato, Sarutobi said gently. I knew made the right choice. I'm sorry, the Minato watching the exchange told them. Rest in peace. With that, the arms pulled the souls out of the two dead leaders and they collapsed onto the ground in a pile of ash and former sound shinobi. Such disregard for the lives of his followers, Minato said ruefully, shaking his head. Hey, if Sandaime-sama's soul was basically eaten by a Shinigami and then Orochimaru brought him here, does that mean Orochimaru inadvertently essentially saved him from eternal suffering? Kakashi wondered. Minato cocked his head. I don't know, that would incredibly ironic if it were the case. So Orochimaru's gone. Itachi nodded. Yes, Hokage-sama. I sealed him with the Seiknagi no Tachi. I was unaware you could use clones for sealing of that sort. Minato nodded. For people, yes, if you have enough chakra. For Baijuya, they are too powerful for that and need a living sacrifice, or we all could have been saved a lot of trouble. I should have known that Orochimaru would prove useless, a cold voice remarked. Kakashi spun around to see Madara, looking very much like his avatar Tobi, causally leaning against a wall. But still, his fanatically devoted cannon fodder helped make this invasion possible. Madara, Itachi said finally. Why hello, Itachi, Madara greeted cordially. It's been years, hasn't it? I don't believe I've seen you since the massacre. You forgot about our deal, didn't you? I helped you brutally murder every one of our brethren save little Sasuke and you joined me at Akatsuki. Things changed, Itachi replied. Orochimaru was blamed and I did not have to leave. Be that as it may, Itachi, a promise is a promise and I really would have thought you'd have been raised to respect that, Madara mock lectured. Still, it's not too late to join me. I will never betray Konoha, Itachi declared. We shall see, Madara said, sounding amused. Kakashi, Minato said quietly. Leave this to Itachi and I. What? Kakashi protested. But go find Naruto, Minato ordered. Sakura and Sasuke are probably with him and knowing them, they're probably getting in over their heads. Keep my son alive, Kakashi. Reluctantly, Kakashi nodded. Don't make him an orphan, Minato-sensei. And God knows the last thing Sasuke needs is to lose more family members. You know, for an invasion this is really kind of boring, Sasuke complained as he cut down yet another Oto shinobi. They had to face a few Suna shinobi earlier in the fight, but the message that Orochimaru had betrayed them and killed their Kazekage seemed to have spread through Suna's ranks at this point. It may be a little monotonous since we're just facing grunts, Sakura acknowledged. But you can't honestly say you're bored. Did I mention that when that man was trying to see how close I was to be ready to get possessed by him, he had me fight 100 Oto shinobi and I took them down without killing any of them or getting a scratch on me? Sasuke asked. That's great, Sasuke. Naruto beamed. Sasuke shrugged. Not really. I mean, these were maybe Chunin level shinobi I'm talking about. Do you remember when Shikamaru made Chunin? Granted, he was brilliant, but if you stayed out of range of his shadow, he was not much of a challenge back then. He did pretend to be unconscious so he wouldn't have to do anything during the invasion, Sakura conceded. True, Naruto admitted. But actually, I was talking about how great it was that you didn't kill them. Even if they were Oto shinobi and thus evil by default. Sasuke asked innocently. Naruto hesitated before nodding firmly. Even then. You know, from what I can tell Naruto, most of the Oto shinobi were just as messed up as Sasuke, Sakura pointed out. So when I see Orochimaru I think of, well, a lot of things, really, none of them positive. Bullet in one of those things is a Pied Piper. Most of those children didn't really have caring friends and a great support network should they have ever chosen to utilize it like Sasuke, but other than that it was pretty much the same situation. Naruto groaned. Don't make me start seeing them as victims, Sakura. You're going to make me compelled to save them all. Sasuke snorted. As long as Orochimaru's alive for them to obsess over, you can't save any of them. Then it's a good thing Itachi just killed Orochimaru, huh? Kakashi asked, shining over to them. I know Itachi's insanely awesome and all, Naruto said, confused, but I thought Orochimaru was kind of, you know, immortal. By killed I meant, sealed away for all eternity, Kakashi amended. Much better than when Sasuke tried to seal Orochimaru inside of him. God knows what would have happened had Itachi not been there when he broke loose. I had it under control, Sasuke claimed. So Orochimaru's gone, huh? I would have liked to have been there, but I suppose I already beat him and the Susanoo is the most effective way of getting rid of him. He did use the Susanoo, didn't he? He did, Kakashi agreed. And right now, he and your father, Naruto, are facing Madara. Sasuke's head snapped up. Where? You're not going off on another suicide quest, Sakura said firmly. Let the two insanely powerful shinobi deal with it. You'd just get in the way. I promised I wouldn't go looking for him, but he's here now, Sasuke burst out. And he's fighting my brother. You can't expect me to do nothing. I can and I do, Kakashi said seriously. Either of them would kill me if I let you guys anywhere near that fight. Killing him once was not enough, Sasuke growled. Madara did do everything in his power to get your clan wiped out, Naruto agreed. But you aren't the only one who suffered because of that decision. Let Itachi get vengeance this time, okay? But he doesn't even want vengeance. Sasuke protested. Him helping to kill Madara would still be avenging the Uchiha, Naruto insisted. Sasuke thought about it for a long, terrible moment where his teammates were left wondering if they'd need to incapacitate him so he'd stay out of a fight he was nowhere near ready for and what to do with him if they did. Finally, Sasuke spoke. Fine. But I'm going to need to kill something in the next 2 minutes or so, help me. There was a dark chuckle a few feet away. Now isn't that a man after my own heart? A quick glance showed the speaker was Kisame. Sasori and Kakuzu were standing with him. So the Akatsuki was there after all. Chapter 31, 5 hearts, 1 brain, you do the math. What are you guys doing here? Naruto demanded. I didn't think village destroying was your style. It's not, Kisame agreed. But nothing wrong with having a little fun while on a Jinchuriki hunt, is there? Our sources say that you are one of our targets, little boy, Sasori said from inside his puppet armor. Namikaze Naruto, host of the Kyuubi, correct. Naruto glared defiantly. Just try it. Oh, we intend to, Kisame chuckled. He stabbed the ground suddenly with his sword. I hate snakes, he said by way of explanation. They remind me of that snake. What is this? Guy asked, appearing on the scene by way of kicking Kisame in the head. 3 members of the fiendish and most unyouthful group that Orochimaru belonged to are ganging up on my most hip rival and his youthful students. I'm not your rival, Kakashi insisted, but, as per usual, Guy seemed not to hear him. Excessive youth really did seem to give you selective hearing. Kisame climbed to his feet. And what the hell was that? You come out of nowhere and kick me in the head. Isn't that unyouthful or whatever? No, Guy said cheerfully. That's my way of saying that I will youthfully take you on to give my comrades a better chance. Be careful, Sakura cautioned. His sword absorbs chakra. Guy instantly reverted to his trademark good guy pose. Then it is a good thing that I intend to get through this fight using only Taijutsu. You see, Lee? This is a perfect example of when it is not only possible but in fact comes in handy to not rely on chakra when you fight. Yes, Guy-sensei. Lee cheered from some trees a good way off. The other genin who were left with Guy were standing with him. And stay out of the way, Guy added. It would be most unyouthful if one of you were to be injured in this most youthful fight. Fine by me, Shikamaru agreed, sounding almost pleased. This whole invasion is far too troublesome for my tastes anyway. Witnesses, Sasuke muttered, looking murderous. Of all the times for us to have witnesses, they pick now to show up. At least we don't have to fight Kisame, whispered Naruto. I think I only fought Kisame once and got my ass kicked while Guy defeated him twice. Besides, what do you want him to do? Take his fight and his charges and out of hearing range. That would be nice, Sasuke nodded. Yes, that is exactly what I want. That's really too bad, Sakura told them flatly. You couldn't actually provide a decent excuse and I refuse to let you sink low enough as to tell him this spot is unyouthful. Alright, Kakashi said loudly to get their attention before dropping his voice back down to, let's not let our enemies hear everything we're doing, levels. Naruto and I have fought Kakuzu before and Sakura has bested Sasori. I know you had Cho with you last time and, as his grandmother, was bound to be a great help but at least you'll have Sasuke with you. Can I trade him for Naruto? Sakura asked immediately. What? Why would you want Naruto? Sasuke demanded indignantly. Sorry, Sakura, Kakashi apologized. We kind of need Naruto against Kakuzu because of his upgraded Rasengan. Not to mention my debilitating fear of puppets, Naruto chimed in. Don't tell me you've forgotten about that already. Then can I switch? Sakura changed tactics. Or, I might be able to do this alone dash. Oh come on, Sasuke said impatiently, rolling his eyes as he dragged his teammate off to face Sasori. So you two are my opponents, huh? Kakuzu asked rhetorically. Hey take Kakashi, I haven't checked but I'm willing to bet that you have a huge bounty on you. I look forward to collecting it. And you, Jinchuriki, try not to make me kill you because otherwise our leader will be most displeased. You, Sasori, Kisame, Orochimaru, Tobi. Kakashi listed off. That's at least 5 members of the Akatsuki here today. You can't possibly all be here for Naruto. No, Kakuzu admitted. Tobi really wanted to come and there was no persuading him otherwise. God, I hate him. Kisame called over, looking up from his valiant attempt to behead Guy. It's like he doesn't have an off switch, I swear, why couldn't I have a quiet partner? I shouldn't be the stoic all the time, it's not natural. It's because you are so unyouthful, Guy explained as landed a well-placed kick on Kisame's chest and sent him flying. And this whole thing was Orochimaru's doing so Sasori had to come, Kakuzu admitted. And I am here because there was a rumor that Shukaku is here as well. Know anything about that? Not a thing, Naruto lied. And trust me, I'd know. I have Jinchuriki senses. If you all seem to have partners, where's yours? Kakashi asked, looking around warily for Hiden. Kakuzu shrugged. Damn kid wouldn't shut up so I killed him about 20 minutes ago. Let me tell you, Tobi is so lucky our leader won't let him be alone with me under any circumstances. He stiffened suddenly as a Reikari-infused punch went straight through him. What? Yeah, I am that awesome, Kakashi said triumphantly before dispersing. The real Kakashi was standing behind Kakuzu with his arm through the ancient missing nin's chest. Kakuzu waited until Kakashi removed his invasive appendage before saying with a smirk, you really think it will be that easy to defeat me? I wouldn't have made it nearly this long if it were. Maybe that isn't enough to kill you, Kakashi agreed. But if landing really should be lethal blows is that easy this won't take long. You won't get the element of surprise twice, Kakashi, Kakuzu promised. He ripped off his Akatsuki cloak and unceremoniously threw it to the side. You may have broken one of my masks, but I've still got 3 more just waiting to tear you apart. He closed his eyes and groaned. Having trouble over there? Naruto asked politely. No, I think I'm doing fine, Kakuzu replied. You won't be, though. At that, 4 hairy masked creatures burst forth from his back and landed behind him. The one that Kakashi had hit promptly fell over and died, but the other 3 looked quite impressive, if a little gross. One of the masks opened its mouth in a beam of blue at Naruto, who quickly jumped out of the way. A second mask fired yellow at Naruto the moment he landed and it hit him head-on. Ow, he complained. Hey, what's with the extra hating on me? Kakashi's the one who broke your stupid mask monster. You can take more damage than I can, Kakashi pointed out. That doesn't mean I want to, Naruto returned. The red mask took that moment to fire a burst of red a few feet in front of it. The red, of course, turned into fire that raged quickly in Kakashi's direction. Thank you so much for that, Naruto, Kakashi said dryly as he rushed to escape the flames. Hey, don't look at me. Kakuzu did it. Naruto defended. You gave him the idea, Kakashi accused. Naruto crossed his arms. Oh please, he's a missing nin that's practically as old as Madara. I'm sure he's picked up a few good killing people idea on his own. You know, before I was even born. We still have to destroy 4 more hearts before we kill him, Kakashi reminded Naruto. I'll do what I can with Reikari and then you need to handle the rest, but you can't slip into Sage mode, so be careful. I will, Naruto nodded. But why do we have to take out his hearts? Why can't we just destroy his lungs or his brain or something? I'm pretty sure he only has 1 brain. That might actually be a plan, Kakashi said, sounding surprised. He glanced quickly at Kakuzu. I don't think he heard us, which is good, or that would never work. Since you've just been sitting here watching and are far better with Kage Bunshin than I could ever hope to be, I'll continue playing by his rules and you try and use a clone or 2 to sneak up behind him and blow his head off. Okay, Naruto nodded. It would be really helpful if you could make sure that he was looking in the opposite direction so he can't see what I'm doing in his peripheral vision, and I'll make sure to mask my clone's chakra. Make sure you aim for the brain, Kakashi ordered. He may have more lungs on him, and you're living proof that a destroyed lung is not necessarily a death sentence. And you have to destroy the brain, not just remove his head, because if the stitches on his neck are any indication, he's been there, done that, and came through just fine. Kakashi shined over to behind Kakuzu. Don't tell me you've fallen asleep on me. Seriously, I know you're old and full of old pride or whatever, but when you can't stay awake for your matches and those matches don't involve Shikamaru, it's really time to consider retirement. Kakuzu sensibly spun around to avoid having yet another heart destroyed. I'm torn between tearing out your still beating heart to replace the one you stole and just killing you now. Do you have any preferences? Kakashi shrugged. Not really, but it doesn't matter because you're not going to kill me. Are you so certain? Kakuzu taunted as another tower of fire came hurtling Kakashi's way. Kakashi jumped back and used a Suten Sei Jinheki to try and calm the flames. No go, he murmured. Must have been combined with wind. Thread shot out of Kakuzu's arm and wrapped tightly around Kakashi's leg, pulling him to the ground. Well, this is awkward, Kakashi noted as Kakuzu stood over him. I've decided, Kakuzu announced. Your heart is mine now. He stopped suddenly when he felt 2 hands grab the back of his head. Naruto released a senjutsu, Raisin Rangan, at point-blank range. The 3 remaining mask monsters jerked and fell over unmoving, and Kakuzu himself was missing the top third of his body. I think I got him, Naruto said with a smirk. Damn it, Naruto. I was right there, Kakashi complained as he pushed himself to his feet. Seriously, I could have been killed. And what did I tell you about using Sage mode? Sorry, Naruto apologized, allowing himself to exit Sage mode. But I wasn't sure the Raisin would be powerful enough, and the Futon, Raisin Shuriken, is too loud. He would have been on the alert and I may not have been able to hit him. But now people will be able to sense you used that chakra, and if nobody else, Jiraiya is going to realize what that means and have a lot of questions for you about how you managed that without going to see the toads, Kakashi pointed out. You know, considering I just saved your life, you could be a little more grateful, Naruto sniffed. Kakashi rolled his eyes. I could have handled it. And now we have to deal with telling people about us. So. Naruto shrugged. We probably should have from the beginning. Kakashi sighed. You and the others can claim you were taking your cues from me, but I have to explain why I couldn't be bothered explaining this for the last 15 years. Sucks to be you, Naruto said flippantly. Your empathy is touching, Kakashi said sarcastically. I do try, Naruto said modestly. But really, how bad could it be? Who do we have to tell? Jiraiya, of course, Kakashi said. Because he'll be able to tell something's wrong from the Sage Chakra. He'll insist on telling Minato, so that's two. Who are we telling what? Sakura asked, bounding over to him followed by Sasuke. Naruto used Sage Chakra, so now we have to come clean to, at the very least, Jiraiya and Minato, Kakashi summarized. You're an idiot, Sasuke said bluntly. I thought you weren't going to use that. I wasn't, Naruto admitted. But it seemed like the most efficient plan. But now we've got to tell people, Sakura grumbled, running a hand through her hair. Definitely not my parents. They'll never understand and they'll be happier not knowing. I mean, coming back because the world ended or Naruto or Sasuke died might freak them out, but they could understand it. Coming back pretty much for the hell of it, not so much. It wasn't just for the hell of it, Kakashi protested. My life is about 1,000 times better now than it was at this same point in the other timeline. Mine too, Naruto was quick to agree. And mine, Sasuke added. Well, I was fine with the way things turned out, Sakura informed them. So I couldn't get them to understand. We could lie and say that the world did end, Kakashi suggested. That seems more responsible of us. But then there's always the problem of, why didn't we tell anyone if the situation was so dire, Sasuke pointed out. And I don't like lying to my dad, Naruto confessed. And the Hokage to boot. Fine, Kakashi conceded. We'll tell Minato and Jiraiya the truth. Anyone else? It wouldn't feel right not telling Tsunade-sensei, Sakura offered. I mean, she was our Hokage when we left, after all, and she's on the council. Any objections? Kakashi asked. When there were none, he continued, okay, that's 3 people so far. Anyone else? We can't tell Obito and Rin, Sasuke declared. They probably wouldn't appreciate hearing that they just died ignobly long ago, and there's no way they'd be able to handle that the Hokage had our family killed via attack. But speaking of... He sighed. He's always worrying I'm going to find out the truth and hate him. Even though I really don't want to, I should probably let him know that I forgive him, and I can't do that if he doesn't know. And I suppose that if I'm going to be spending the rest of my life with her, Anko should know, too, Kakashi decided reluctantly. So, that's Jiraiya, Minato, Tsunade, Itachi, and Anko. 5 people. That sound about right. Yeah, that should be good, Naruto agreed. You do realize that if this inconveniences us in the slightest, we're going to kill you, right? Sakura asked. You can try, Naruto told her. But I have an army of Kagebushin and a collection of friends at my disposal, so you all can just bring it on. That's it for this reading. Hit like and subscribe for a free ticket pass going to the different worlds of anime fanfictions. Looking forward to having you on board again.